Hello, today we'll be going over how to repair a condenser fan, an AC condenser fan for a refrigeration unit. This is usually the first thing that goes bad on a refrigeration unit that doesn't have any physical damage. And the thing wrong with this is that the fan usually gets a lot of dust build up on it, and then it's really hard to spin. It doesn't free spin at all. This particular one came out of a commercial grade Coca-Cola cooler, the one shown like here. And there's a couple things that actually happens. You get dust that gets inside this little crevice between the motor and the gear, and that's the first thing that can go wrong. The second is that the coil could just burn out from having one of the wires short out in there. This one was still getting warm and hot from dead shorting from it not being able to spin, so that's actually pretty promising, illustrating that the coil still works and it's still getting circulation of energy through it. Bad thing is that it doesn't free spin in the slightest. So first thing you want to do is these fans usually have a metal clasp right here. I already pried off with this flathead, and this fan dismounts. You can see where it kind of pressure fits in there and onto here. Now the tools you'll need, of course, would be, screwdriver, a crescent wrench or a small wrench for that, WD-40, and Q-tips or some kind of cleaning cloth. I have the silicone grade WD-40, so it should make this job pretty easy. I don't think this is, oh yeah, this one is same millimeter as this. So first we want to take off the brushless motor mount with this really long screw, so we can get to the main bearing of the motor itself. Because I want to get a thorough cleaning. Now the way this coil works, there goes part of it off the back, is you got the AC that flows through here, the hot and then the ground, and this coil is wrapped around this, which then causes a magnetic field, which then causes this to want to spin. So as you can see, this doesn't want to spin easily. And part of your reason is right there on that wall. You can see it's dirty. Another thing is, you can see on here where this has gotten kind of tough, and also this bearing that's attached to here, looks like it's actually warped. It's not quite straight. It's kind of wobbly. This comes off, and the inside of that bearing is also dirty. So everything will get a nice oiling and a nice cleaning, so that way everything's free spinning once again. You got several little washers here. Try to keep in order what way they go in, and you should just have this guy on a stick. The main thing that was actually stuck appeared to be this guy, which is just a bearing, more or less than the motor actually being contaminated. So get everything oiled. You'll start cleaning off years and years worth of operation. Give it a nice smooth operating area once again. You may have to use some more powerful solvents to get off some of the other dirt if it's excessive enough. But do keep in mind that this is a condenser motor, so you kind of want to keep it as anti-rust as possible. Muriatic acid will take off any rust, but then you would have to use a treating chemical on it to keep it from happening again, because once you use acid to clean off a metal surface, it likes to rust real easy without having any kind of anti-rust coating. So on the inside of that alone, there's this dirty Q-tip, which some of that built up dust could have assisted in the downfall of this motor's free spin ability. These guys usually cost about $50. So now that is significantly cleaner than it was on the inside. This is the back end of the free spinning housing. It'll fit like that. And that sort of free spins, but not as much as I'd like it to. So hit it with another burst or two. Let it marinate in its juices. Make sure you wiggle the bearing around, because the bearing itself is supposed to be able to wobble and free spin, and it's not wanting to do it, so it might take multiple bursts. It's trying to come looser. And it relatively gives a little bit of free spin now than it did before, and it does have a little bit of wiggle and play like it should. It would be more ideal to be a lot more, but that's a lot better than it was. This one, it doesn't want to facilitate any spinning. So this one is the problem child. Since we've already hit it once, you might need to use an abrasive brush in there too to get any kind of corrosion that might be in there, because if there's any kind of burring right there, that'll cause significant issues. So I put it in backwards to see if it would spin, and it's starting to free spin on the backward side, which is good. It's not going to be like super free spin. You can also see where there's some buildup on the shaft itself. Start cleaning it off of any dust, debris. You'd be surprised how little dust can actually bring these motors down. For being an appliance, they are fairly delicate. Good. Can never have too much lube. That's had some time to work, and it's free spinning very well now. It's still spinning. It's the original fidget spinner right now. So this bearing on that side's good. It's well lubricated. And this one I'm still a little skeptical about. A lot better than it was. It's wanting to free spin now. Less dirt coming off there. Make sure that shaft is really nice and clean. I'm going to leave lubricant in there. I'm going to give it a quick cleaning before I put it back in its entire housing. Make sure there's no dirt on the actual motor part itself. Any physical damages. Because everything will install the same way that it came apart. I had these guys that I put backwards from that. If I did have a Dremel available, I would polish that shaft up a little bit more, because even just sliding the washer on and off there, it can feel some metal gasket to slightly scrape the shaft, take off any of that gunk that might be inhibiting free motion. So now that we got everything oiled up, I'm going to go ahead and put it back together. It does get kind of finicky because you have to make sure all the bearings line up. And I have a reference picture I'll double check, because I do take reference pictures before I take things apart. But if it is backwards, then the fan's just going to spin the opposite direction. Put your long bolts back in, make sure the entire motor goes back into each other. You don't need a whole lot of torque. It could cause problems. And now, just pop the fan back on. And there you go. A much more free spinning fan than it was before. That's how you fix a small motor.
You liked that, didn't you? Well, there's more on Patreon. There'll be things that can only be seen by supporters. Go to patreon.com/ShadowDragon.
If you want to be a part of the action and reach out to us, you can come join us on our Discord channel. All you have to do is go to shadowfoot.net and click on the Discord button.